At this moment, I met the sexy young woman who lost money and cried. At this moment I would rather hit the ghost or not want to see him. I was not worried that he would find me to borrow money, but felt that he was a broom star, and he might bring mildew. This time I regret knowing him. But life is like this. Some people always come to the door to make you caught off guard. I looked at him politely and said hello. He injected 50,000, and soon the dealer opened the card. The dealer is a 5-1-6, and the Ming card is 2-6 or 2 points. Both the dealer and the idol family are both small. When the card was made up, the dealer made up for 3 points. When I saw it, I thought it should be dead. The chance of winning 3 points was too small. Sure enough, it was a broom star, and I couldn't help muttering. As a result, the dealer made up for 4, and lost to the dealer at 3 o'clock, and my 50,000 was so water. The beauty side sympathetically moved his position and leaned towards me. Instantly, there is a feeling of hugging and holding. I smiled bitter at him, thinking about whether to stop fighting, and left decisively. After losing more than 200,000, he didn't happen as if something happened, and his blood was resurrected. He said that after he returned to the room to sleep in the afternoon, he was not so frustrating, and felt that he had strength again, so he called Dongzong to make up for 50,000 yuan to the Venetian people. The murderousness is not so heavy, the place is not so depressed, and so on. He also said that he encountered a good way, and once won almost 100,000, he was about to return to the book, and he planned to stabilize the small bet slowly. This is fine. I thought that you won more than 100,000, and it has been several times that it has been over. Don't stop it yet. Do you really think you are a gambler? Although I think so, it is easy to really close it in time. The gamblers are all like this. After all, they encountered good luck and won some money. The gambling gods said that they would win, and they wanted to pursue it by victory, but they often lost after the injection. They worked hard for decades and returned to liberation. What to observe the road, what stop loss, and what you see if you see it, etc., all of which are left behind, and the planned plans in advance are also stranded. As a result, it will inevitably be cleared again. This time, I am afraid it is difficult to be spared. Just like now, let Sister Lee help me fight. She still can't help but make her own claims. After 50,000, she lost unjustly. As soon as I shot, the road was immediately chaotic, and I jumped a few times in a row, and I was leisurely. I decisively got up and went to the toilet, so that Sister Lee focused on playing cards. The toilets in the casino are all stars, which is no different from the star hotel toilets in the mainland, which is very delicate. When I came back, I passed a very prosperous table. I was curious. At a glance, I saw the glasses wearing glasses. It seems that he won a lot on this table just now. As soon as I looked at the card, the road was half deficient, and there were 18 leisure, and there were several 5 or 6 leisures, but there were only a few villages. For me who likes to buy idle, I really missed a peerless card. Unfortunately, there are 2 villages, and everyone is ready to bet, ranging from hundreds of to tens of thousands. Everyone knows that the good road is absolutely going to be exploded. Unfortunately, there is still a village, and everyone is dead. Next, the cards started to mess. However, there were also 2 people who did not believe in evil to continue the money. I did not expect that there was a 7 Lian Zhuang, and someone began to scold her mother. The back of the glasses is well controlled, and there is no easy bet. Of course he recognized me, but we did not talk about the whole process. He looked like a bright and cold look, and the city was quite deep. I don't like dealing with such people. However, according to my observation, most men basically choose the kind of person who is less clean to play. This is because most men think that playing baccarat is a technical job. They want to defeat it through a rational way. The typical representative wearing glasses. The opposite of women, they basically think that baccarat rely on luck, always likes to bet on the pace of betting on the public's betting. Maybe a woman is afraid of fighting against the casino alone, so she likes to go to a lively place. When I returned to Sister Lee, she didn't seem to be smooth, and there was no progress in the chips. The first one was zhuang, Sister Lee won. Sister Lee continued to press 20,000 zhuang, but the second one was idle. Calculated, I also lost taxes. When you encounter this kind of way, it is best to stop several hands to observe, but only a few of us are playing with this gambling table, but we can't fly the cards. We can only continue to press. Sister Lee controlled the rhythm, and each pressed only 10,000, winning 2 even, was out of village. Sister Lee directly pushed 30,000 to the dealer, waiting for her to connect with another zhuang. As a result, it was leisurely. In this way, after winning a few consecutive pieces, you will win a little when you lower the chip each time. Once you increase your injection, you will lose. In this way, Sister Lee has lost more than 100,000 unknowingly. There are almost a few decent way for this card. However, Sister Lee decided to change a place, but after changing the card was still very messy, there was no regular at all. Since this is not regular, you will be chased, and you will not have a long company. However, Sister Lee doesn't like to be on, because it is too risky to do it. I still want to try it. My Sister Lee gave me all the remaining 50,000 chips. When the third zhuang appeared, I bought 10,000 insurance, but the fourth was zhuang. There is no way, I have doubled 20,000 yuan, the fifth is zhuang. According to the plan next, I should pay 40,000 money, but this time I have exported Wulian zhuang. I thought, in case he is really a Changzhou essence. As a result, after the license was opened, the dealer exposed a money every day. In this way, I lost 50,000 cards. There is a saying that is right, gambling is the gambling heart, and the difference of thoughts will fall into hell from heaven. The young woman walked a few laps and came to the side with interest. As soon as he came, I was even more panicked in my heart, thinking that I was afraid that this time I was really going to be killed by the casino to the family. Fortunately, he was here to say goodbye to us. He said that he was already in a stateless and concealed his family to Macau. Today, no matter how you have to leave, you don't have to eat anymore, and there is a child who needs take care of. He was so embarrassed that we had been keeping him and reluctant to him. It turned out that this time I borrowed the toll from me, and I had 1,000 openings. After I went back, I would return me. I thought that it disappeared in less than 3 minutes. It was nothing more than 51,000 yuan, but I thought that because he brought me business, I really didn't want to give it a penny. In the hesitation, Sister Lee said, when you are gambling, you should not borrow money. I'll give you 1,000, don't pay it back. Sister Lee gave 1,000 Hong Kong dollars, and she also told him, don't play again, directly, 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 you can play. Go back. Sister Lee is beautiful, kind and bold. Looking at the back of the departure, I feel particularly sad. I lost 200,000. In the end, I had to beg for 1,000 yuan toll. What is the dignity? Gambling, gambling, what magic do you have? Can it make people so addictive, so indulged, so unknown? Sister Lee and I had lost a profit of 200,000 to 300,000, and there were 100,000 left in a blink of an eye. The ups and downs are like the tide of Haojiang. Perhaps this is where Macau is fascinating. Here, a variety of games are unable to stop in and lost. Especially when Baccarat opened, he kept blowing, pressing, and topping with cards, and some people shouted cheerfully next to him, and then he was magically like a gambler. When you are proud, you suddenly sigh, watching yourself a small point such as opening a 1-0 o'clock. There is still time to win at 8 o'clock, at 9 o'clock, and at 7 o'clock, especially a little winning 0 barbecued pork, it is really exciting. At the same time, it is a kind of torment, and it is a kind of crazy battle. We decided to change to a table. Sometimes when your hands are not smooth, you have to believe in evil. Change a table is equivalent to changing your hands. We came to a relatively quieter table, and there were 2 women about 40 years in play. It is estimated that Mrs. Kwa, who usually does not need to go to work, apply fat powder to cover up the traces of age. Sometimes they buy villagers, sometimes they buy leisure, sometimes one person buying a village, another person to buy leisure, and blowing themselves. There was no popularity on the gambling table, and the dealers were panicked, without any cramps, and the eyelids kept falling down. The mental spirit of the dealer may be a good thing for gamblers. I helped Sister Lee open a chair and sat down. The entire table was like a calm lake, and there was a ripple. The dealer's eyelids finally lifted up, but the ripples quickly spread out this time, and then disappeared. The situation on the gambling table quickly returned to its original state, and the dealer's eyelids began to fall down again, and everything seemed to be calm. A young gambler, quietly writing the card. Although the 2 women were gambling, they had no hostility in each other, but they were quite tacit. If one party buys zhuang and the other party is idle, the person who loses will also say, you won. For them, the casino is the best place to eliminate time. When you are, you can win a little, in case of bad hands, you won't go up. If you lose 1,000, you should eat a meal and go home to call your husband to sell it. The gambler who studied the good branded road suddenly pressed 10,000 chips on the zhuang. There was a Mrs. Kwang colleague who took the village, but only pressed 1,000 yuan. He stared at the 100,000 yuan chips, and a helplessness appeared on his face. The young man who studied the card road smiled very well and said, Sister, look at the card. Mrs. Quang smiled with a satisfactory smile, and another woman also thumbs up, praising the posterity of the good thing. Listen, the accent seems to be Hong Kong people. It is said that there are many rich women in Guangdong, or Cantonese. This Mrs. Kwa just wants to entertain, focusing on rubbing the card, play. If you can't even touch the card, what's fun? The dealer yawned. The dealer was 6 o'clock, the idol family, the home at 7 o'clock, a shot was burned by the idol house. In fact, evil roads are just a way to enhance confidence. Winning always rely on luck. After losing a few times, the young people frowned and looked at those so-called pace roads. One of the Mrs. Quang came over curiously and pointed at the road and asked the young people, "What are you?" "Helpless, why can't I understand it all?" The young man smiled bitterly. "This is a dead end." A dead end. Li glanced at the road paper, neatly beating roads, eyes, and small roads. "I can't see it." After a closer look, I knew that the Baccarat Luzi written by this guy was like this: Zhuang Zhuang Xin Zhuang Sin, Zhuang Zhuang Sin. The next fool knows to buy Zhuang, so the guy pressed 10,000 and then pledged Zhuang Zhuang. As a result, leisure. The young man said that this was all his profit today. After studying hard for a day, he lost his light. She took a deep breath, drank a cup of coffee, worked hard for a while, and came out for 5 consecutive villages. I didn't believe it. Sister Lee didn't have an idea at this time. Listening to my pressure, one of them, 1,000 villages. The first card was for the dealer, 1 and 2. The second card, I was 4. Mrs. Quang squinted and watched the card, saying that it was a card on both sides. I desperately blowing. Sister Lee also helped me cheer, and finally blown away, took a sigh of relief, and it was stable. Mrs. Quang was relatively leisurely, and then slowly, she also pushed up, and as a result, she hit a game. The second one of our chips was not moved, and I was still idle. It's another offensive. The dealer rose, and at first glance, it was the second card of the 4 sides. Everyone is 3 sides, so my chance is 6, 7, or 8. The dealer's 4 sides and 3 sides may be 6, 7, 8, or 9 o'clock. Whoever the 2 of us will be better, the better. The dealer watched the first card of the 4 sides, and it became his biggest possibility now at 17 o'clock. In this way, my opportunity is a little older than him, because I still have a chance to fight. At 8 o'clock, the card was 7 o'clock, the dealer had an 8 plus 9, and it was also 17. I couldn't stand it for 2 consecutive sets. Sometimes, I have to believe in the arrangement of destiny. It seems to be destined in the meditation. No kind of force can change all of this, like the torrent of history, and even this inverse gambling game.